It's a brand new week, and here's what we're watching on the business front. In the next hour, we'll find out how this year's Olympics host, Japan, fared in the second quarter as it releases GDP figures. On Tuesday, we'll get a gauge of consumer spending over the summer period in the United States with July retail sales data. Midweek, we'll all be watching to see if New Zealand's central bank hikes rates. It will be the first in the region to do so if they indeed do. And the focus shifts to Indonesia's central bank on Thursday as they debate rates amid a weakening of the nation's currency, the rupiah. And rounding off the week, retail sales in Australia, we'll see if consumers were still spending amid a burst of lockdowns in July. Let's bring in Peter McGuire, who's in Sydney amidst a lockdown that you're going through on your own there as well, Peter. Good to have you on the program. Let's start with New Zealand. It might be the first central bank that hikes rates in a post-pandemic world. If it does, what does this tell us about New Zealand's recovery and the global economy?
Well, I think it tells us a few different stories. It tells us high inflation, tells us a booming real estate market. It tells us that the markets have basically priced in a 0.25% rise as far as interest rates, and there's a 20% probability you could see a double rise, in other words, 0.5%. So they're the main themes that I think Wednesday will be a judgment day for the New Zealand economy.
Right. Real divergence, though, coming through with regards to interest rates. The PBOC, for instance, looking to loosen monetary policy. What's behind this?
Well, exactly right. You've got some economies that are booming as that divergence story, and the Chinese economy needs to really boost their internal spending and, of course, maintain that growth trajectory. So there are so many different frameworks that are really working through the markets at the moment, and that divergence story, I think, is going to create volatility and, of course, a trader's delight as far as currency trade.
Peter, Japan GDP coming out a little later today. What are you looking for aside from the numbers?
Well, I think we'll be very satisfied with the numbers. It could have been a little bit higher due to, naturally, the thought process of staging the Olympics. We should have, rolled through this with tens of millions going through to the shores of Japan and enjoying their whole spending and taking on board that hard currency. So at the moment, we're fairly satisfied with what the projections are as far as that number coming out of Japan. And in turn, I feel as though that really the Japanese economy will just continue to tick along till the end of the year quite nicely.
Going forward, though, for the Japanese economy, how much of an impact will rising COVID cases have on outlook?
Well, that's the great concern. There's talk, and as far as future lockdowns, and in turn, the general age of the economy. We all understand it's a very aged economy, and aged person, and in turn, the damage that could cause could be quite catastrophic leading into the 22 if it goes further into 2022. So there's the uncertainty. That sort of mindset is something that we've just got to look forward to and see where we're going. But they've got a very strong equity market, and that's bounced very, very nicely over the last 6 to 8 months.
Peter McGuire, always good to have you on the program. Thanks for joining us on Asia Business Report.